This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
The following podcast sometimes offers unusual solutions to usual problems. These solutions are meant for qualified agencies or individuals to put into action. And I'd be willing to bet that's not you. Listen, folks, we don't take ourselves too seriously. Neither should you. So, let's go have a laugh. Welcome to Unscrew It Up. I'm Josh.
I'm Amanda.
This is the podcast that takes your problems and offers differently twisted solutions to them. But we have a problem today.
Is the problem that I don't sleep? That's my problem today. What's your problem? What's our problem? What are we fixing?
Well, today, and in fact this weekend, I've had to work. But it's interesting that you mentioned sleep, because what we're going to do is we're going to play some material that we recorded about dreams that most of you haven't heard because it's not been on this podcast.
So what you're saying is that, one, you've had to work at your other job, and so we've not had time to unscrew up things. Two, when we actually do sleep, we dream weird dreams, and we're going to help the people unscrew up theirs?
Yeah, something like that. And so we our other podcast, we did a thing on interpreting dreams, and that's what I want to play for you now. And it's one of my favorite things that we've done because we had a lot of people contributing things.
Well, the good thing is I don't remember what we talked about, so it'll be like a new episode for me too.
Yes. So this is from our other podcast, Super Familiar with the Wilsons, and in it we talk about dreams and what they mean. Do you have any recurring dreams?
I do. I have a variation on the theme, and they've happened all of my life, or all of my adult life, and probably my teen life too. I have a dream in which I am very poorly prepared for something, which I could analyze that myself. So I have a dream where either it is the end of a semester and I have an exam and I realize that I didn't go to class the entire semester, nor did I study for it.
This is the story of my high school career.
Yeah. And so I was like, I've never even been in this biology class. I don't know how I'm going to take this exam. Or I am in a play and I'm about to go on stage, and then all of a sudden all of my lines are gone out of my head, and I'm trying to find the script and I can't find a script. So, I mean, it's basically a variation on the theme, but those are my two recurring that I've had at least for 20 something years.
I feel like variations on those themes are pretty common and pretty easy to understand.
Right.
By the way, the most annoying thing about dreams that I have is when I'm aware that I'm dreaming. When I'm in a dream and all of a sudden I become aware it's a dream, every dream I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I can basically control this like the Matrix. I can fly. But then my dream turns into, yeah, it's fine that I'm aware, but I still can't do whatever I want to do. It is the absolute worst. Also, in general, dreams are bad for me because I'm in the Nightmare on Elm Street generation.
Yeah.
Dreams mean something different to us.
I've never been aware that I'm in a dream.
Oh, I'm aware that I'm in a dream a lot. In fact, you've experienced this with me as well. I'll be in a dream and I want to wake up. And so I'll make noises either to wake myself up or to have you wake me up.
That's terrifying because it sounds like you're in some sort of, I don't know, like sleep paralysis state. They aren't fun noises you make. You sound very scared. Now, I've never been aware that I've been in a dream, but I do dream in narrative though. Like I'm not always present in my dream. I'm watching something unfold, and I dream in like narrative stories.
Oh, that's weird. I've never heard of that before.
But I feel like if I could just capitalize on that and write those things down, I'd have another Twilight hit on my hands.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you got to write it down as soon as you wake up because they do fade. And they're so, and we can talk about a little bit of this later, but they're so vivid you think, I'll never forget this.
Right.
And then whoop, they go away. What we did here is we did something fun. We had several of our friends give us their dreams. And so they recorded some audio of them talking about their dreams. And we're going to interpret some of the symbology in their dreams. So we're not going to interpret the entire dream. What we want to do is give them some tools by telling them what some of the symbols mean. If I have a dream that I don't feel prepared for a musical performance or whatever, or like you're talking about, I mean, it's pretty straightforward that that's dealing with fears and insecurities and not feeling prepared and all this and that. But maybe some of the particulars in the dream,
Right.
if we can crack the clue or the mystery of what that is, we're going to help our friends. Now, I do have a disclaimer. Josh and Amanda Wilson are not, nor do they claim to be, medical professionals. They are just two people with healthy imaginations, a good internet connection, and some time to kill. The following is for entertainment purposes only. Good?
It's good.
Do we feel like we've covered ourselves
I
now?
do. I definitely going to keep us from being litigated against.
And again, we're not here to interpret the entire dream, just to give these people a little bit of insight to what the different symbols may mean in the dreams to help them unlock the secrets of their subconscious.
Well, I hope you have some sort of skills because I don't know what these symbols mean, but I am happy to tell these people who have been generous and maybe naive enough to send us their dreams. I'm happy to tell them what it means.
Okay, well,
Will
there
not
you
be
go.
rooted in science at all.
So before we go to the first dream, what are dreams? And so I'm just going to give the quick theories as to what dreaming is, because the reality is we don't really know what dreaming is. Some of the theories are that it's offline memory reprocessing. So basically it's processing things that you've been through. It's got all these, it's like you're in a library, and as you go throughout your day, people are throwing books on the floor, and people are throwing paper airplanes with very important notes written on them, and when you sleep, all of that gets organized, right?
Into giant strawberries?
Next, preparing for possible future threats.
I don't want it to be that.
Right. Zombies or strawberries. It's cognitive simulation of real life possible experiences. So again, your body's preparing you in case you meet Dracula while you're wearing roller skates
And no pants.
What you should do. Next, reflecting unconscious mental function in a psychoanalytic way. In other words, just digging through your problems, right?
It's probably likely.
But this is all scientific gobbledygook. I've got another interpretation that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay.
So let's get to the first dream. Dan Belson, our friend Dan Belson from the Be There with Belson podcast. Now let's listen to his dream, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so the other day I had this dream. I'm walking to the train station to go to work. As I'm approaching the station entrance, Catherine Tate approaches me. Catherine Tate, if you're not aware, she had a sketch show over here. Wasn't particularly funny. She was in the American Office, so, comedy actress. Anyway, she comes up to me and says, if you don't go to work today, come back to mine, we'll have sex, and I'll give you this chicken and sweet corn sandwich. I agree. So we start walking to her place. As we're walking, it starts raining. Like, it's chucking it down. There's so much rain. So she gets her friend to come pick us up. He drives so fast. All the time, I'm so scared we're going to crash. We're driving through this rain. Like, it's ridiculous. But we get to her place safely. We go inside. Now, when we get in there, all her family are there, including her elderly mother. So all the time I'm sitting there, I don't feel good about this. It's all a bit weird. Anyway. So then I pull Catherine to one side and say, look, I don't mean to be rude, but I should have told you this earlier. I don't eat chicken, so I can't have this sandwich. She laughs it off. She says, oh, you should have told me earlier. It's not a big deal. She takes the sandwich off me. So we're just hanging around. I'm wondering, when we're going to have the sex. And we're just sitting there watching TV. So I'm just scrolling through my phone, and then somehow all my nudes that I've taken of myself, which isn't a real thing, but they were in a dream. My nudes have started popping up on the TV so everyone can see them. Apart from the elderly mother, the TV's right behind her head. So I'm like panicking, trying to get them off, and I'm like, oh, get them off. I'm trying to take the nudes off the screen. Oh, God. And then, that was when I woke up. Make of that what you will.
All right, instantly, Amanda, what do you think of that dream?
I mean, it's a comedy sketch show in and of itself. So Catherine Tate, this is her name?
Catherine Tate, yeah.
I was not aware of her, but I looked her up in preparation for this. It's just she walked up on the street by the train to say, I'm going to give you chicken and sex. So maybe this is, okay, so Dan's a vegetarian vegan. Maybe like subconsciously his body's trying to process the fact that he is going to be encountered by a chicken sandwich at some point. I don't know. And
it's amazing that this whole story and the point of the story to you, the pivot, the focal point is the chicken sandwich.
I mean, it's the thing that's odd to me. But the other thing is that I can't stop thinking about is that his nudes are popping up behind the elderly mother's head. So she's sheltered from them. So there's some care and concern for taking care of our senior citizens.
All right, so that might be very well true. So let's look at some of the symbols here. Train stations and trains symbolize leaving your own life, taking a spiritual or physical journey. Catherine Tate. So to dream that you're having sex with a celebrity indicates you're driven to be successful. You're striving for recognition. All right. This is one of those things where maybe the sex isn't about the sex. The fact that she's a redhead suggests that he needs more spontaneity and vitality in his life. It's time to make some dramatic changes.
I mean, this is what's happening with going to get the sandwich and the sex with the family.
No, he's not having. Listen, don't make this dream any freakier than it already is.
All right.
To see a sandwich in your dream suggests a lot of pressure and stress are being put on you. It also reflects your ability to do two things at once. So in this case, the two things would be eat a sandwich, have sex with Catherine Tate. The falling rain is also a metaphor for tears, crying, and sadness, but renewal and cleansing as well.
But it's like either or. It's really just choose your own adventure for dream journaling or whatever.
Right. Fast driving. Dreaming that you're driving fast suggests you need to slow down and think through your choices, which, granted, in this dream, he was. You're so focused on your goals that you're leaving behind the people around you. Watching TV. Now, this is interesting. The programs that you dream of being on the TV are an objective view of the things that are in your mind.
Dan's mind is just his naked body?
Yes. Nude pictures. Dreams about being naked in a public place are one of the most commonly reported dreams. They have a number of meanings and will often occur during adolescence and when a person is reaching puberty. These dreams in a young person can represent the person's budding awareness of their sexuality.
Are you saying that Dan Belson just hit puberty?
I'm just saying that maybe he's just now becoming aware of his own sexuality, and it has to do with Catherine Tate and chicken sandwich. All I'm here to say is, Dan, I'm here. If you want to talk to me, just reach out, and we'll go through these things together.
No, see, I need a follow-up episode where everybody gives us the summary of what they've learned from your guidance about themselves.
I just think it's going to be a bunch of pissed people. But here's the thing. I'm not making any conclusions at the end of the day. Actually, you are.
I did.
I'm just giving the meanings of these symbols as reported on several, what I'm sure will prove to be very reliable websites about this.
So who decided when you dream about a sandwich, it means that you're good at multitasking or whatever that said? Who, all of the dream officials, the ministers of dreams, got together and said, this is what this means?
I'm quite certain that in that case, that interpretation was provided either by the king or by Ronald. I'm not sure which one. Or maybe Wendy. I'm going to put another theory of what dreams are out there, okay? With the theoretical existence of multiple universes, it can be put forth that every dream represents something that has happened to a version of yourself somewhere in existence.
No, that's too freaky.
So,
I don't like that.
All I'm saying is maybe this actually happened to Dan Belson and Catherine Tate.
That's right. I have no problem with the theory of multiverses. I've had some weird ass dreams, and I don't want that happening to anyone.
Okay, well, moving on to our next dream. Gavin Belson.
Okay. The brother
of Dan.
Dan.
Here we go.
Okay, so this was a dream that I had fairly regularly for quite a while. And and I have no idea what it means, and if you can figure it out, good for you. Basically, what would happen would be I would be in some sort of alien place, high up with a runway down to a middle point, which had a pyramid and a gold ring around it. The only way to get home was to get hold of the gold ring. On the opposite side, equal to me, was a giant ant who would wear a cape. And we would have to race, and we were both trying to get home, different homes obviously, and we would both run down these runways to the pyramid to grab the gold ring to get home. Every time the ant would win, despite the fact he had 6 legs, he would only ever run on 2. I don't know why that was. And while this was happening, the music, which I don't know who it's by or whatever it is, but it used to go anyway, that would be playing, and it would get quicker and quicker, and as it got quicker and quicker, my heart would beat faster and faster, and I would wake up just as the ant grabbed the ring to get home, and I wouldn't get home, and my heart would be pounding. Yeah, just your average normal dream, I guess.
So first of all, I thought he said a giant hand.
No.
And so when I was visualizing this, I was visualizing just a hand with a cape on.
Yes.
The ant is funnier though. Because he runs on just 2 and stands up with the other 4. I don't know. Gavin, I'm sorry. I don't like reoccurring dreams that are stressful. And I feel like Gavin is trying to get to a point in his life and he's really striving for it, but there's a lot of pressure and they're running downhill. I don't really know what that means, but it's probably got to have some sort of symbolism. The giant ant is just freaky. I don't know, but Gavin, I hope you get home.
So wistful. All right, so let's look at the symbols in this one. Pyramids. Pyramids in a dream suggest that major changes will occur over a short period of time.
Oh.
To dream that you are climbing a pyramid or climbing towards a pyramid or progressing towards a pyramid indicates that you will find gratification and fulfillment through perseverance. Now, let's get to this giant ant wearing a cape. Ants can symbolize social conformity and mass action.
Well, that makes sense,
yeah.
right?
In this regard, you may feel that your life is too structured and orderly. This dream is not either of those. The cape. The cape may mean that the ant is trying to cover up or hide something or trying to shield themselves from being emotionally hurt.
If I wear the cape, I can't see that he almost beats me.
But we're not here to psychoanalyze the giant ant. Gold, running to a gold ring, symbolizes wealth, riches, natural healing, illumination, and or spirituality. Also a symbol of love, longevity, and domestic bliss. Now, the running on 2 legs thing, that symbolizes that this ant is just a big jerk.
He's showing off.
He's taunting. He's like saying, I can beat you with 4 legs tied behind my back. This is
wrapped
a real...
up in my cape.
Yep, real asshole insect here. Next dream is from our friend Kay. Let's take a listen.
Hello, Wilsons. It's Kay from the Fuck My Work Life podcast. And you were asking for weird dreams. So I had this dream when I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and I still remember it vividly because it was so bizarre. I have no idea what was going on in my life at the time, so I can't give you any sort of context. So basically, I had a dream that the sun exploded and blew the atmosphere off the earth, basically making the entire earth like a barren desert. And everybody was wandering around, kind of like turned into these nomads searching for food, kind of sort of Mad Max style, but everyone that was in my dream kind of had like these long linen robes on, and they were just wandering the earth, and I was running around trying to find my family, and I couldn't find them, and I just woke up feeling very lost and strange. So yeah, I'm sure there was more to it that I don't remember now, but I saw the sun explode and like the atmosphere being blown off the earth in my dream, and that part stands out the most, and it was really weird. So can't wait to hear what you and Amanda have to say about this one.
So I've had the dream of like something has happened and you're searching for your family, and like this is a dream that I've had on a semi-regular basis.
I mean, that makes sense to me, though.
So let's look at, did you have something?
No, I was going to say, what a horribly tragic dream to have when you're 13.
Yeah.
I mean, as an adult, we wake up feeling really funky from these things. And, okay, I'm sorry.
So let's look at some of the symbols in this. The sun is in the dream. It's featured pretty prominently. The sun represents beginnings or endings, as in sunrise and
Well,
sunset.
there's clearly an end.
And then the idea of the atmosphere, the air is gone. So to dream about the air symbolizes creativity and intelligence, or in this case, maybe the removal thereof. The desert symbolizes one's need to overcome obstacles before being reborn.
Okay.
She mentioned Mad Max, so Mel Gibson. So this means that you can't stand anti-Semites.
Okay, good. Yes.
Wandering, of course, is searching for direction in life. Food, searching for food, looking for satisfaction or nourishment. She mentioned the long robes. To see or wear a robe in your dream signifies lack of clear communication, or possibly that ultra long robes are about to come into fashion.
There you go.
So those are some of the symbols there. But I got to say, again, this is a dream that I've had before, or a variation of it. Never dreamt about Mel Gibson, though.
No, but George Clooney you have.
We'll get to that. All right, next up, Planty. Mark Plant from the 100 Things podcast, amongst many others.
Hi, Josh and Amanda. It's Mark from 100 Things We Learned from Film. Hope you guys are well. You'd asked me to tell you about reoccurring dreams, reoccurring nightmares. Well, I used to have a couple. The first one was basically about me saving people from zombies. I had this for about 10, 15 years, and I used to remember on a semi-regular basis that depending on who I was training at the time, when I was a trainer, or whoever I was friends with, would always be in the dream, and I would always manage to save at least one of them, but usually end up sacrificing myself. Don't know what that means, not sure. Another dream that I had alarmingly regularly. As a fan of musicals that I am a massive fan of the film The Little Shop of Horrors. I used to have a reoccurring dream that I was in an all Yorkshire cast, so the region of Great Britain known as Yorkshire. I was in an all Yorkshire cast of this show, and I was Seymour, because of course that is the role I was born to play, baby. And in this dream, we got to the final dress rehearsal the morning before the show was due to debut on the evening, and we were performing, and I was giving it all my best. Suddenly, Seymour, standing beside you. And somebody bursts through the doors, runs down the hallway, clutching a piece of paper in their hand, and waves it at the director and says, "That man cannot be your Seymour, because he was not born in Yorkshire. He was born in Nottinghamshire," waving my birth certificate in his hand. I had to leave disgraced, being laughed all the way up the aisle and out. Man, my subconscious hates me.
All right, so apparently they take their musicals really seriously, like the local community musicals really seriously there. Actually, I could see that happening here.
I just want Mark to sing to us more. I enjoyed that. And I enjoy Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm glad somebody else is dreaming about plays, although he was much better prepared for his play than I was. I was in a restaging of Hamilton.
Oh, really? In your dream?
Well, I don't really know that. It's just I was in the dresses, like the fancy Schuyler sister dresses.
What if you were just the wardrobe person?
Well, then I really had a mistaken sense of self-worth because I kept trying to get my lines. I thought I was the leading lady.
I can see that happening in real life. Okay, so to dream that you're being attacked by zombies indicates that you're feeling overwhelmed by forces beyond your control. You're under tremendous stress. Although, in this dream, he overcame them. By the way, just as an interesting aside, dreaming about eating a zombie may also point to how you distance yourself from others as a way of protecting your own feelings.
That is some serious symbolism.
Yeah, so don't worry, y'all. If you ever dream that, it's not as freaky as you think. To dream that you die symbolizes inner changes, transformation, self-discovery, and positive developments that are happening in your life. So it doesn't mean negative things. It means like changes, like sudden changes.
Suddenly Seymour.
There you go. And about that dream, musicals and singing. Singing and making music is a way to celebrate, communicate, embrace, and express your feelings. Now, I saw that right throughout. Whenever it's talking about music or singing, it has to do with expressing your feelings.
Oh, interesting. Well, that makes sense.
As far as the other symbolism in that particular play, there's a dentist, right?
Yes,
Dentist.
yes.
So if you dream about a dentist, it suggests that you're having some doubt over the sincerity and honor of some person in your life.
If you die, it means you have good things. If you dream about a dentist, it means you think somebody's a liar. Dentists everywhere must be really upset by this dream dictionary.
Well, I don't know that any dentists listen, or at least they've just stopped. If you dream about plants, it reflects your caring and loving nature. However, Audrey, too, was an indoor plant. If you dream of indoor plants, it suggests that your growth is being hindered or slowed in some way. See, this is all, but you didn't know any of this. This is all very complicated, which is why you need experts like us. No, we are not experts.
Walk it back.
Walking it right back. Next up, my oldest son, Daniel.
So this was a dream I had about a month ago. For context, I work on weekends. So Fridays, no work. Saturdays, I have to work. So I went to bed Friday night, and I dreamed that I woke up in my actual bed the next morning, but that I was very, very sick. Like I was like really hot and feverish and like sweating. And so I got up out of my actual bed and went to my real life mirror that's actually in my room and looked at myself in the mirror, and I was just really sweaty and hot and like exhausted, and I could barely stand up, and I was like, okay, man, I gotta go back to sleep and try to get some rest, but I definitely like can't go into work, like I can barely stand up. So in my dream I went back to sleep, and then I woke back up, but not in my dream, in real life, and I felt totally normal and not sick at all, and I wasn't even like sweaty at all. It really like threw me for a loop. It took me like a couple of minutes to get readjusted to like what real life was, because the dream happened entirely within my actual room. It's very disorienting. And that was my dream.
I'll go ahead and interpret this dream right now. My kid is pretty stressed, boy. That's what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about what he spoke about at the end, that weird time between being asleep and being awake.
Yes.
Where you've got a foot in both worlds. I think everyone's experienced that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm speaking for everyone, but yeah.
Well, okay. I'm going to ask you a very specific question. Are there times where you are still angry about something I did to you in a dream?
I was hoping we could get through this whole episode without discussing the implications for our marriage with dreams. I have anxieties. This is well known. And I have a somewhat reoccurring dream where I find text or I find a receipt or something very cliche that I'm sure I saw in like Law and Order.
What would it
or
be a
something.
receipt to? Like the Russian mail order bride service?
No, the pay by the hour motel.
Oh, they give receipts, do they? I think they specialize in not giving receipts.
Right. And so then I wake up and I'm not in a good space, and it takes me a while to get out of it.
A while, people, like half a freaking day. She's pissed at me, and I don't know why.
You do know why. I always tell you.
Well, I mean, I forget. You'll tell me the dream in the morning. I'm like, aha, isn't that great? Haha. And then she's still pissed at me half the day.
Well,
through.
yeah, because you said, isn't that great? Haha. Not, I'm sorry, honey. I would never go to the pay by the hour motel.
First of all, I would not apologize. Nothing to apologize for. And second of all, this is the worst, because this is like having an evil twin that no one knows exists.
That's right.
The worst.
Dream you as your evil twin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But not me.
The 5-year-old dreamt something and blamed it on me the other day. And also the 15-year-old's done that to me recently. she's been grumpy at me. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, you did blah, blah, blah. I'm like, absolutely not. But it's like one of those weird lucid dreams she has in between the 500 different times I try to wake her up for school in the morning.
There you go. All right. Lastly, our friend Danny Buckets from the Casting Views podcast.
Hi, the Wilsons. How are you doing? So,
Fine.
Dreams. I tend to not have very weird or wonderful dreams, but there is one that sticks with me. It was probably, it was probably about 10 years ago now or so, something like that. I was ill. I had the flu. Now, the only reason I mention that is because it probably explained maybe why I thought it felt real at the time. But anyway, just a little note. So I was in bed sleeping, and my partner, she'd got up and she'd already gone downstairs. Now, while I'm in bed, I hear her call up and say, Dan, I'm going to do the shopping. Is there anything you want? I'm vividly seeing this. I'm vividly seeing her at the front door. I'm hearing her voice clearly. And so I shout something out. I said, yeah, can you grab this for me, please? And she goes, okay. And then I hear the door open, the door close, and I go to bed. But it just felt like I was shouting to her. Anyway, I then wake up a little later, and I go downstairs, and she's looking at me, and she's smiling. And so I'm then thinking back to the dream, and I said, you haven't gone shopping then? She goes, no. And I said, did I shout something out? And she goes, yeah. She goes, you shouted something out really loudly. And I said, was it this? And she goes, yeah. And basically what I shouted out to her was, custard creams, babe. So I'd asked her to buy some custard cream biscuits. The funny thing is, or the weird thing is about this, I absolutely detest those biscuits. So, yeah, I had a really weird, vivid dream, shouted something out really loudly, which obviously gave her a chuckle downstairs for something I can't stand. So, yeah, that's my story.
So just for context, a custard cream is a type of a sandwich cookie popular in the UK and in Ireland, filled with a creamy custard-flavored center. Now, I will tell you that there was a study done that listed custard creams as the most likely biscuit to cause injury or harm.
Because they're trying to twist it open like an Oreo? What?
Well, it's like apparently kind of a hard cookie, so it could get stuck in your throat. They use it to dunk in tea, so you dunk it in hot tea and burn yourself, or you're attacked by an animal trying to get your delicious cookie. I don't know, like seagulls.
Why is this a statistic the world needs?
Well, it's a thing where they listed the most likely biscuit to cause injury or harm. That's a thing that needed to happen. I don't know, not the point. Maybe next week we'll talk about the list of cookies that can hurt you. But I wanted to talk about this dream because the idea of yelling things in your sleep.
You identify hard with this dream.
So early in our relationship.
It's still one of my favorite stories. Yeah, so I've been having sleepovers not very long.
Having sleepovers. I'm imagining us with a bed full of pillows and teddy bears, and I've got the onesie
Yes.
Union Jack with the flap in the back with one button down.
Yes, and we're playing MASH. And I don't mean MASH, the TV show. I mean the game you play with your friends where you pick the 3 people you want to marry. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. The 90s girls will know what I'm talking about. The 80s and 90s girls will know what I'm talking about. If you've ever played MASH, maybe add us on the socials and talk to me about it. Okay. One of our first sleepovers, Josh was, and I think you had fallen asleep early. Like it was still daylight out or something. Like, cause it was during the summer and it was longer days or whatever. And I'm lying there, I don't know, playing on my phone, watching TV, don't know. And all of a sudden, Josh just yells out, George Clooney can kiss my ass. Now, I don't know what George Clooney did to Josh. I don't know why my husband feels angry toward him. But at the time, I just started laughing. It was the funniest thing I had ever heard. And then you wake up and you don't believe me. See, that's the thing. These things happen. I tell you about them and you tell me I'm lying. So I don't know how to convince you other than if I never sleep and just record you all night long.
Wasn't there something also about goats that same night?
That was not the same night. It was another night that you kept saying in his sleep, he kept saying, that's not my goat. That's not my goat. That's not my goat.
That's a real problem that people have to deal with, though.
So in my mind, you were running away in a circle from someone who kept trying to give you a goat. Now, there have been other times, and there have been other times recently, but I can't remember. Those are the two that stand out because we were newly dating, and I was kind of wondering what maybe I
Were
was
you about
getting
to
into.
Jump out the plane at that
Yes.
point, pull the ripcord. And then to kick it up another notch here, the idea of sleepwalking or moving around when you're still asleep. So the idea is that when you enter into this deep sleep, your body is supposed to be paralyzed so that you don't act on any of the things that your mind is doing. Now, that's clearly not true because sleepwalking is very well documented. I remember when I was a kid, I was dreaming I was playing soccer, and in the dream I kicked the soccer ball, but what I ended up doing was kicking the very hard cement wall that was right next to my bed and nearly broke my damn toe. And then there was the time I had this dream that I had to get up and go to the bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the dream, I'm standing there at the throne and I'm doing my business. I wake up and I'm in the kitchen peeing into the garbage bag.
How old were you?
I don't know, maybe 12 or 13 or something.
Oh man, at least you found something to pee into.
I mean, it was a Publix shopping bag. It was might as well not have been a thing. It would have been easier to clean up if it was just on the floor.
Now, I forgot until you said that. I do also have a recurring dream where and I'm sure that it's my body trying to wake me up, where I really have to pee, but I can't find a bathroom. Like every one I go to is broken or horribly dirty. I can't use it or whatever.
I mean, I have those dreams too, and usually it's near the morning, and I wake up and I really have to pee.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of those things where reality is intersecting with the dream world. The last thing, it's actually really disturbing for me, is when I do find myself in a situation where I'm aware I'm asleep and I want to wake up. Even worse than that, though, is when I dream that my eyes are open and I can see around me and I'm seeing my room. Or in one case, in the first time I can remember it happening, I was a senior in high school. I was skipping school, but I couldn't stay home because my dad was home and I couldn't just. So what I would do, so I'd drive to like a city park, Coral Reef Park, for those of you from Miami. I'd park at Coral Reef Park. I'd lean my seat back and I would go to sleep, right?
I don't think that's safe.
I mean, it was okay. It was Miami. It was fine.
I don't think anyone's ever said those words.
But I would dream that I was awake and my eyes were open and I was aware of being in the car, but I could not wake up. That's the worst dream ever.
That's
terrifying. That's really bad.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So I haven't had those in a while, but I mean, I've had them as an adult and not a big fan of those.
Did you check your dream source to see what custard creams mean?
Cookies have to do with giving in to temptation, and shopping has to do with giving in to your desires and getting what you want. So.
I mean, see, sometimes these make perfect sense.
Interesting, though, that no one gave us a pleasant dream. I mean, that last one by Dan wasn't innocuous at the very least, but the things that we remember most vividly aren't the pleasant dreams; it's the unpleasant dreams.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, our subconscious is trying to work through something, whether it's grieving that we need to process or, I don't know, something.
Here's a thing that I learned, though, that if you're trying to learn how to do something, if you're trying to memorize something, if you're trying to learn a new skill, that the best way to do it is to do it before you sleep, get a good night's sleep, and then when you wake up in the morning the next day, you will be more likely to be able to use that skill or master that knowledge than if you didn't sleep. There's something that's very legitimate about the fact that you need sleep in order to kind of reboot your brain.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of sleep. I'm a big fan of dreams. I don't usually have bad dreams. Usually they're either weird or pleasant. And sometimes having dreams about having sex with a celebrity is just about having sex with a celebrity.
Unless there's a chicken sandwich. Then you're taking it to a whole different level.
Well, that's some sort of weird American Pie dream there. What are we talking about now?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
There you go, Amanda. Everything you wanted to know about interpreting dreams. Now, we recorded this a bit ago, and you talked about the recurring dreams that you had, but do you still have, like, recurring dreams? Is this a thing?
You know, our minds are weird and interesting places because I have been out of the classroom for over 7 years now, and I still dream about either the end of the year and I've not assessed anybody, so I don't know if they can move on to the next year, or it's the beginning of the year and I have nothing to set up my classroom with. So yeah, I still have frequently this dream, and I've not taught in 7 years.
The inside of our mind is a strange place, strange things that go on in there, and hopefully as you listen to us opine about what dreams mean, it helped you. It gave you some clarity.
Well, you know what your dreams are. It's just the brain people that Wilson Technologies running around while you sleep, messing things up.
That's great. I've got little elves in my head. All right, folks, if you have any recurring dreams you want to tell us about, we'd love to hear it. So email us at unscrewitup@gmail.com. But until you do, and until we shout at you again, go out into your week. Be successful, be kind, be compassionate. But whatever you do,
don't screw it up.
Bye.
Bye.